edition of BC Buckets. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me is Colin Mitchell. Colin, today we have Kris Murray from Iowa, a junior, 22.8 years old, 6'9", wing slash forward. What are your thoughts on Kris Murray?
My favorite thing is that you started to laugh when you said his age. Obviously, that's a big talking point with him. Is he's one of the older prospects in the draft, and when you're 23 years old and you don't do a lot of things great, I mean, I guess you could argue it doesn't do anything great. It makes it hard to want to take it because he does a lot of things good. I think he's a good finisher. I think he has good touch. I think he's a good defender. He's long. I think he has catch and shoot upside. But none of those things are instantly like, yeah, that'll work in the NBA. Like for the finishing, for example, yeah, he finished 66% at the rim, but he's not a super good vertical athlete. He has to kind of use his body more, and against NBA bigs and stuff like that, that's not going to fly. On the defensive end, yes, he guarded some guards in college, but will that work on against NBA guards? Obviously, he's not going to play the wing, but he needs to find value in what he can do really, really great. And if he can only guard 3 and 4, and he can only kind of score on the inside against NBA guys, and he doesn't develop the shot, that's okay. Those are the question marks I have with a guy that's 23.
I mean, you summed it up well, right? There's not a lot that he does that you can hold on to here with him. The main thing for me would be his defense. I think defensively he could get there. He is 6'9", good wingspan. I think he showed a lot of flashes this past year being a plus defender.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. Now he did obviously in his career he went 2 years basically coming off the bench. First year didn't play, second year came off the bench, and then this past year he really flourished and blossomed into having a great year, as you can see on the screen. 20 points per game, 8 boards, 2 assists, 1.2 blocks, 1 steal. I think defensively is where he's going to have to get on the court. Crafty finisher, like you said. He posted up a lot in college. 66% at the rim, you mentioned. That's really all I can say that's positive right now. And I don't want to be all negative here, but that's pretty much all I can say that's positive. Like you said, there's not enough to get him on an NBA court right now, and he's 23 years old.
right.
That's the problem. He got worse as a catch and shoot shooter. Went from 39% sophomore year, and I understand smaller volume, but to 33% as a junior. His mechanics are okay, but it's kind of a stationary set shot in a lot of ways. Like he has to load up on it a little bit more. Nothing like Keegan Murray. And that's where if people buy into Kris Murray because of Keegan Murray, they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely doing it wrong. Keegan Murray out of college, and obviously a year less, they're twins, but a year earlier comes out as a knockdown shooter, has really, really good in-between game. Like Keegan Murray was more athletic. Like there's not
He picked
even,
fourth.
yeah,
There you
not even a
go.
comparison here
Yeah.
of who's better. And Keegan Murray, obviously, you start with the shot, and I think defensively maybe Kris is on that level, but he's not um, on the level of Keegan in any other way. He's not quick enough to attack closeouts. He doesn't get all the way to the rim. He's not an isolation threat. He's very ground bound in his game. Does not get up vertically in any aspect. And yeah, I just don't think a guy who didn't play his first 2 years at Iowa and then eventually comes out and averages 20 a game and still isn't the most efficient, unlike Keegan, who, if we remember, I'm pretty sure, let me check. Keegan was shooting 62% on twos and 40% from three.
Yeah.
Like it's a different world of player here. And so I just don't think Kris Murray has the ability to get to that level. I don't think he's fluid enough in his game to get to that level.
Yeah, and a big thing too, because obviously at Iowa he had the ball in his hands a lot. In the NBA, he's not. You didn't see a lot of cutting ability, and I feel like people really underestimate the skill that it takes to be a good cutter. Because if he's going to be the 3-and-D player that I think is what he projects as, if you want to have any more upside than that, I feel like it depends on your ability to cut, ability to do things without the ball in your hands. And like you already kind of mentioned, is like his shot, for example. Yeah, he can sit in a corner and maybe knock down 34% from 3-point line, but he's not gonna be able to come off pin downs like the 3 other really good shooters in this class, or he's not gonna be able to come off of DHO and shoot. He can work on those things, but there is with the age and where he's at right now in his game, it doesn't seem like that's a a good outlook. My personal comp is Jay Crowder. I think they're very, very similar players. I don't know who you have down.
I like that. I think the ceiling for him and what he wants to get is a 3-and-D wing, right? So like a Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
I have down as a ceilings kind of because of their builds. I have Trevor Ariza down because he is a little slimmer or thinner. But I obviously Ariza was more athletic and better shooter. But that's kind of the ceiling type thing. If you're looking at like how can Kris Murray work, it's like okay, Trevor Ariza's there. And then for a more current one, I do have Cam Johnson down because he was 6'9" as well, plays a 4, but Cam Johnson's a little stronger, better shooter out of college, obviously.
Better shooter, yeah.
So it's hard to really buy his upside when I don't believe in his shooting. I mean, I don't think he's an elite shooter, and I don't think he's an elite defender. I don't think he's elite at anything offensively, especially as a role player, like you mentioned, which he will be in the NBA. He's not going to be getting these post ups like in college. He's not going to be getting fed the ball
Yeah.
like he was in college. It's just, and a lot of times we see this with more like low major type players that we evaluate. It's like, all right, he's getting every shot. It's like Maxwell Lewis a little bit, right?
Right.
But at the same time, Maxwell Lewis has obvious translatable skills in the
Right.
athleticism.
And the
Kris Murray
stats there to back
and
it
the
up.
numbers,
Whereas Kris, it's like it's almost I don't want to say it's on volume, but it's like there was no other option on Iowa. So they're just like, here, Kris Murray, let's win some games. 20 points, boom. 8 rebounds, boom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going down just to see.
Here's an interesting stat too for people that might buy a shot. On guarded catch and shoot shots, he was only 29% from the 3-point line.
He is second. Okay, so he is outside the top 30 for me.
Yeah, I would have him the second round.
Second round, great. So, which I don't think is that far off. I think most people have him late first. If he goes anything above 28, I'm looking at him with the side eye.
Well, it's because like you get a player like this, what is the upside?
And I don't even think he has the floor right now to get on. Like I think
Right.
like last year it was Ochai Agbaji, right? For me, it was like okay, I don't see it. But at least Ochai Agbaji, I thought had a little bit of a higher floor to maybe get onto the court already.
I mean, he had
like
the shot.
He can shoot
Yeah.
well enough to, and kind of the experience with Kansas, where it was multiple years start. Like it was that Kris Murray has 1 year starting, like, and he's old, and he can't do any of these things well. I've just completely, I can't.
Not to mention, he already tried entering the draft last year and then came back.
Yeah, no, it was obvious. So, yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. So just to be clear, you have him second round. We both have him second round.
I have him second round.
Yeah.
So. We'll see once I finalize my board. We'll see how low in second round I have because I'm trying to get to the goal. Is once I finish to get to like 50 players.
Yeah,
we're not there yet. So we'll see where we have him shaking out after that. But anyways, that's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you think of Kris Murray below. If you want your team to draft him, where you think he should be drafted, and all that good stuff. So yeah, we will talk to y'all later.